great to have the great Nick Wey and Vincent Wey. And what's up, guys? How are you?
Good, how are
What's
you?
happening? Thanks for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Father, son.
I like this because it
What?
reminds me a lot of home.
Yeah?
Yeah, just Aiden and I. And
Right,
then, yeah, it's
right.
awesome.
How's Team Green? How's big bike life, Vince?
It's sick. The big wheels are awesome.
I can't even imagine, like, yeah, because you rode, well, they're super minis.
Yeah.
So they got the bigger wheels, right?
Well, bigger than 85.
Bigger, yeah.
Bigger than 80s.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with 80s. We got super minis, but still, right? A lot better.
A lot better.
So, Nick, you're all in with the kid, amateur dad. Take us through this. And Kiefer, you can join us. Take us through this. So you're all in, Team Green. You drive across the country. You got a Texas thing. You got Daytona. Is there something else I'm missing?
Yeah, there's
Was there another one?
futures or
Okay.
for him. Yeah, he's doing it all.
You drive across the country. You're getting ready. The first day the kid rides back east, he hurts his shoulder. He crashes and hurts his shoulder. After you just drove for 3 hours, pounding Mountain Dews,
More than 3 hours. I wish it was.
I'm sorry, 30 hours.
Yeah,
30 hours.
30 plus.
What's going through your mind?
Well, I mean, it's amateur racing, right? So it's really not that big a deal. But then I have to really, kind of lay it in there about the decision making.
Pull your mic a little closer if you can. Yeah.
The decision making is
Yeah.
what kills me.
Right.
But again,
Well, I don't know what happened in the crash, so I don't know
yeah,
anything.
what happened?
Like,
to
I
it?
don't know. Like, crashes happen. I'm not coming down on Vince for crashing. Shit happens. I just mean, like, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I have some friends back there at South Georgia. Went to Josh Woods's, and then
Yep.
we went to another track that Graysick trains at that the Yamaha guys went and rode at during the week, kind of a Daytona replica track.
Okay.
And so we hadn't, as I drove, 3 days of driving, so
Yeah.
he hadn't ridden for a week.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let's get a day of riding in before we go race the first Supercross. So they had a Daytona replica, and then we had a great day of it. Did plenty of laps, and then I made a little change to the shock, made the sag a little higher to help it turn a little bit, because obviously it's so grippy, and the fact that he the
Okay.
scoop tire,
Yeah.
which was obviously tricky for Supercross, and then he did one more lap and jumped through the whoops and went over the bars, and the bike hit him.
Oh,
Mm.
And I'm like, oh.
oh yeah.
So it was a big one.
Well, that mic a little closer because the noise thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big
Bend
one.
it,
It was a
bend
big
it.
one. It was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'm not coming down on Vince, but you're just Vince. You're probably going, this is not good.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Immediately, I thought I broke my collarbone, but
Right.
luckily, it was just an AC separation,
Yeah.
which is not as severe, but
Yeah. Because literally, I'm at Daytona. I'm like, where's Vince? Where's practice? Practice has started. I knew you were ready to race, and then I'm just like, there's nothing you can do. It's motocross.
Yeah, totally. And to be fair, at
Yeah.
his level right now, being 15 in the futures thing, it's about learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, and really going all the way across the country, there's a lesson that you couldn't have learned here.
Okay.
So certainly it's different conditions. The track was aggressive. So I mean, it feels in the moment like you wasted a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
Well, no, you did. You did.
No, I did. But it's also I know enough to know, and
Yeah.
RV's learning it. It doesn't matter what you know.
Yeah.
It matters what your kid knows.
Uh-huh.
And so the experience it doesn't come from practice.
I feel like I'm not as good as a parent
Why?
as Nick
Well, you got a place
because
in Georgia for
I
your
put
kid.
myself in that situation.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, "What the fuck were you thinking?"
No, none of that happened. I picked the bike up and then dropped it.
Okay. Because when Aiden did his ACL, we were just on a parade lap. I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna ride this turn track from the house."
Just coming back from shoulder.
Just coming back from a shoulder, like a month back. I go, "Hey, we'll meet back here. We'll tell what we're doing." One lap, then I have my two friends around in this corner. I'm like, "What are they doing?" Aiden's on the ground, and I come around. I go, "What the fuck is going on?" "My ACL, my knee. I'm done, Dad. I'm done." Freaking out. I go, "What the fuck did you just do?" "I didn't." And he starts yelling. "I didn't do anything." So he's a better parent than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have freaked out too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But we're back riding. We're back.
yeah, we're back. We've been back.
Yeah.
We raced Birmingham.
Right.
It was a
Well,
little bit of a struggle, but
Little bit.
got the nerves out, so
Did you have the pulp sticker on? Oh,
absolutely.
Okay, I wasn't because we're this is a deal. We're done. Check is cashed. So you're the athlete. So make sure that there's stickers on there at all times.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
on every helmet.
Yeah, Birmingham went not bad. I mean, whatever.
Not
Like,
bad, but not
okay.
as good as I wanted.
Yeah.
I was gooning out a little bit
Right.
most practice sessions, and then had a big crash.
Had a big one. I saw the big one on Instagram.
Yeah, smoked the wall.
Hey, you got lucky. You got lucky.
Yeah.
2 subframes, 2 mufflers, 2 sets of bars later.
Jeez, where's Mitch at? Let's talk about them mufflers.
I'm getting texts from AC up high with videos talking about this is PTSD. I can't do this. And I'm like, bro, I can't see anything, but I'm just not looking at the track.
You can't put me through this.
Yeah,
Adam's
yeah.
going. I mean, look, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got my best.
You ain't
lap time
first
in
or
the main.
last. You ain't first or last. Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
How's the Team Green thing for you? How'd that come about? The switch to it, obviously on big bikes. Now you were Orange Brigade or Husqvarna or whatever the hell they call it. How's that? How's the Team Green thing?
It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
I first started riding it like a month or a half before Mini-O's. Then went and raced Mini-O's. Did pretty well. Rode a lot of laps in Mini-O's, did a lot of racing. So then came back, started racing or riding Supercross a lot, and then was gonna race Daytona. Hurt my shoulder, and then rode a couple days before Birmingham, and then raced Birmingham.
What's the biggest adjustment to doing a futures or next Supercross next? What's the biggest adjustment for you?
I gotta say the tracks when you watch it on TV, it doesn't like even when they look smooth, it is not smooth.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. And then I would have thought that the ruts would be more like through, but the ruts just have kickers in them.
What do you mean by through? What do you mean
like
by through?
I mean like all the way through the lip. It's just in the bottom.
You're saying there's a knuckle at the top.
Yeah. It's like just gas it.
Subframes, mufflers,
Bars.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still racing when he's 7, 8.
Yeah.
So like he came to the races with just me before.
Right.
And he's like, "What are we doing out there?
Yeah.
What are you doing?" And then I'm like, "Bro, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how easy you think this is." So I'm basically like when this happens to him, I'm like, yeah. Like J-Bone asked me, "Who are you texting?"
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there with his bars totally sideways and his throttle thing's broken. He's like, "Should we straighten this out?" I'm like, "Bro, your throttle is broken. Absolutely do not start this thing. You should probably push it back."
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing so far here.
Right.
today.
So you're like, hey, Vincent, what are we doing out there?
No, I'm basically like, yeah, this is what happens. Not that easy, right? And I'm texting Nicole, yeah, we're live, I think, for now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a good story. So when I was like 6, 7, he used to always like leave for the races really early, and he would come say bye.
Yeah.
And I'd always tell him to start in third gear.
Start in
Bigger
third gear?
sprocket,
No, he'd be
start
like,
in
he'd
third
look
gear.
at because it was when Andrew Short was starting in third.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they'd
yeah.
talk about it on TV all the time.
Yeah.
He'd be like,
Well, he'd whole shot every race.
he'd be like, shift 2 times before you let the clutch out.
Nice.
Third gear. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then back to like him, him having to learn as he goes. I mean, he's been around Adam since he can remember.
Yeah.
And so it's like there was always a little bit around the dinner table too, even with Adam, like, bro, like how hard is it? And Adam's like, bro, are you serious? Are you serious right now? So
how hard is it?
So to be fair,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him to do well, but I'm glad he's okay. But I was like, yeah, I'm pretty stoked that you see that this is hard.
Yeah.
I tell the boys, I was like, what about that section over there? Dad, it's hard. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's why maybe you should listen just a little bit.
Chris, you've been through all this.
You can't do anything about it. Like as a son, they're gonna nod their head and they're gonna either tune it out or they're just gonna do what they're gonna do.
I'm getting
anyway.
the tuning out right now.
Yeah. So for me, you only can do so much. You can talk to them, and me and Aiden we talk a lot about it. But once they put the helmet on, it's up to them. They're out there on their own. So hopefully it takes somehow.
Nick, for you as a parent, obviously, like I said, you're on Husqvarna and KTM, and Vince is good enough where I'm guessing they wanted him there. You switched to Team Green, obviously, which you did for your amateur career. Maybe you had some other people asking, like, how, as a parent, how does that work where you're like, we're going to go in this direction, we're going to leave, or we're going to stay, or whatever. Like, and I know because Joe Olaf's a friend of mine too, right? And Chris has told me a little bit of what Joe went through with Liam a couple years ago, and I was like, holy shit! Like, these amateur programs are aggressive. So I imagine with Vince, they're the same way. Like, how do you balance all that? How do you look at the pros, cons of switching, leaving, staying, whatever?
Well, and to be fair, he did have like multiple opportunities, but for us living in California and me being so close within, like we talk about with, I worked really closely with Adam when he was on the team here, and Cameron. Obviously, I have a great relationship with Mitch. Mitch has helped us since he was on 65s. So when there was an opportunity available to work with the Kawasaki guys and Mitch, it wasn't a no-brainer. But for us living in California here, we have the infrastructure to where we can go to multiple Supercross tracks. And then I know the program some to where I can I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's like you can make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Like we've been since the last race, so we did a lot of work to the bike to make it more stable and to fix a few things.
Yeah, like
and so it's like I come here and we're here till 8 p.m. and Schneike and I and Dan are working on it, and Mitch is rolling over with some more parts talking about we need to try this, and I'm like, okay, fair enough.
yeah.
So
it really was easy in that way. In that sense.
I mean,
yeah. No, I get it.
I'm very grateful for the help that Husqvarna gave us because it's obviously very expensive. So certainly up to this point, it's been a lot of support from them because even like the Super Minis were a crazy expensive project. But at his size and his age, it was kind of important for him to do that.
Yep.
And the 125s was not a super doable path because of the changes to the bike. But then now I know like at his age, it goes quickly to this futures thing because you're riding an aggressive Supercross track. So me knowing the most that I know about the bike and feeling comfortable with the program was important. And obviously they put together a great package.
Unless you're Aiden, and then you've been supposed to ride futures for 3 years, and you have
2 years.
Well,
yeah.
okay, so I think it's almost a. I wouldn't use the word disadvantage for us, but like knowing everything that you know, knowing everything that I know, like it becomes like early now. I'm calling Nick. I'm asking him, hey, what do I do here? You know, what do you think about what bike? This, that, the next. Like it's almost like you know too much at this level, like especially at my level on 50s. It's like I know too much information. Yeah. Right, and I'm giving them too much stuff, or I'm trying to adjust this, and I'm trying to adjust that.
Well, it's always going to feel that way, no matter what. Like, no matter what you do, it's always going to feel like because for us, all of us, it's
because we've done it, and we've seen it, and we felt it.
Well, and to be fair, like the pathway to get them what they need, the tools to, succeed at racing or reach their goals. With the way we did it was different. I mean, in 1991, I had a 1985 KX80. You know what I mean? So like forever. I mean, I've had 40 pairs of goggles sitting around that he's messing with since he was 7, and I'll scoop them up and throw them in the trash and be like, these are just tools, right? Because it's not the same as it was when we were growing up. We're, I don't know. They have all of this stuff because
it's a different time.
Because we work within the industry.
And part of working. That's the biggest thing. Working inside the industry, knowing what we know, have done all the testing and kind of know what works and what doesn't work. But then also for me, like I haven't rode a mini bike in, a 50. Well, I never rode a 50. I rode a PW 50, and then I went to a 60. Like even now we're dabbling in the 65 era right now with the boys as they're starting to move up, and I'm like, well, geez, I think I need to do this. I think I need to do that. Yeah. It's almost like I know too much.
Yep. Nick, for you too. Adam hung it up. Joe went to Florida, and you were going to the camera, and obviously you got hurt. It's been nice, not nice. Maybe that's the wrong word, but. More time with Vince, more time in California, more time. I mean, God, dude, I would see you
burning the candle.
I would see you in fucking Atlanta. You're like, dude, I got a red eye tonight. I'm gonna go right to fucking Mesquite tomorrow morning. I'm just like, oh my God, like, you were gnarly to be there for your kids, and now you're, because of Cam's injury and the other things I mentioned, a little more time.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, working with Adam as long as I did and him not racing this year has been like a bit of an adjustment for me because we spent so much time together.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of weird where like he's working now and I'm working and I don't see him as much. So that's been a bit of adjustment to be fair because we're close.
Yeah.
But as my kids are older, like my daughter's a senior in high school, and so she's been doing gymnastics forever.
Yeah.
And so she's been trying to push towards that. So we've been supporting. I've been able to support her more, like going to the gym to watch her and being at more of her meets, which I would say that I'm at every single important one anyhow.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out, like you said about the scheduling.
Right.
But I just know that things are changing, and she's only going to be at home for so long because she's going to go off to college. And then certainly with Vincent moving to big bikes, I knew that I needed to like really pay attention.
Yeah.
So obviously it works. It worked well because Cameron started the off season, and we did a bunch of sections as he's riding the big bike on outdoors, and so we were all working on basics, and it worked awesome together.
Yeah.
And then Vincent started riding Supercross, and Cameron's up, so we're there together.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked really well. Obviously, it's unfortunately Cameron's not out there racing, so we would love to be with him now because Vincent's. I know, just I remember back as to like his age and how quickly you improve. So it's perfect for him to have someone like Cameron to ride with and emulate what he's doing. He's obviously a crazy hard worker. So just like kind of getting my schedule a little bit leaner is definitely kind of needed for the family.
He's got like a super family. Girls, Olympic-ish gymnastic Donovan.
Some in the blood there.
I follow this Donovan Way, and he's just crushing every mountain bike race. Is he in the wrong class?
He's in the wrong class right now.
'Cause he's just dominating.
We petitioned him to get moved up.
Okay.
I mean,
he's winning every mountain bike thing.
I mean, he's having a great time.
Yeah.
He's having a great
Okay. And then there's Vince, like a super family.
Right.
Yeah. Is Aiden and Vince the same?
Yeah, same
Okay.
class.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Get
No,
some
that's
heat
fine.
there. Vince, for you, and it's a great question. I just thought, like, Joe and Adam and Cameron, you've been around, and your dad, right, back in the day, and even this guy and whatever. What point as a kid did someone make an impact on you where you were like, wow, like either A, this is really hard work, or B, like I want to be like that guy, or you know what I mean? Like who made an impact to you as a kid, as a pro rider when you were littler, smaller? Younger.
A lot of different people, obviously.
Yeah.
But mainly,
Was it Timmy?
what?
Who?
All right, never mind.
Perry.
Currently,
Tim
yeah,
Perry.
I know what he's talking
I
about.
know.
But mainly, currently is Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
His like ability to adapt and how smart he is
Yeah.
during the race.
Yeah, but I
is
mean, like when you were
pretty
younger,
inspirational.
like when you were younger, was there somebody that you were, like just
I
somebody?
don't know why. I always really liked Tickle.
Tickle? Okay.
Tickle
Yeah.
was always and Cooper Webb back then.
Yeah. Which is funny because through your dad, you can just be like, "Hey, what's up?" to these dudes.
Yeah, but I think he also is like discounting the fact that he's just not saying it, but it's obviously very influential within his racing has been Adam.
Yes.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
I think he just goes without saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, almost like you are so close to Adam, it's just like you. Yeah.
It's like a family
Yeah.
member.
But at some point, like, can you imagine? Like, I mean, at one point, I wanted to be a top Canadian pro, right? And I just you have no guidance, you have nothing. And I remember Ping telling me this too back in the day when Ping first turned pro, and he's like, I didn't know these guys even trained. You know what I mean? I had no idea, nothing. Randy Lawrence told him, "Hey, we go on bicycle rides," and he was like, "What?" Like, you know. And Vince, the book is there, like the work effort, the practicing, the book is open for you. You're so fortunate that way, where you're just like, okay, this is what I gotta do.
Yeah, it's obviously really
Not hit the wall in Birmingham, but
Yeah, I don't want to hit the wall again ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to hit the wall.
no, but you know what I mean? Like you are really fortunate. I'm not trying to be like the old man telling you that. but
No, it's
yeah.
cool to judge myself off other pros.
Yeah.
I've always been really, really far off, like forever.
Mhm.
But now I'm trying to get a little bit closer to my peers riding at the track. But it's always fun to go to the like the gym or a bicycle ride with others just to have fun and see like how they train. And it's Adam, Cameron, Joe, all extremely hard workers, and it was cool to learn how hard like the work you have to put in to be great. And it's I honestly think training's fun.
What about being Nick Way's kid? I know sometimes like having someone like your dad in the industry, then having your name maybe puts a little bit of added pressure on it. Do you feel that? Do you and your dad talk about that when you go racing?
Well, sometimes it can be a little annoying, but I really respect his hard work that he puts in for me and the experience he has. And I really appreciate all he does.
Do you
for me.
feel like other racers are like, fuck that, I got to get him, or like, fuck that guy, or anything like that?
Most of the time, honestly, people like are ride more aggressive with me
I-
because of it.
Yeah,
I
don't
feel
know.
like,
Yeah.
but I just gotta keep my head on a swivel and
Right.
not smoke a wall, I guess.
Yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
some kids like, well, I look at like Nick, right? And I think other kids outside of people that have been in the industry will be jealous of Vincent, right? And
Yeah.
maybe would
Yeah.
think, oh,
I'm jealous of
Vincent
that hat, by the way. That hat is with the logo
That
from
is
my
nice.
era. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
on the outside be
agree.
like, oh, you know, he gets everything.
Yeah.
He's spoiled because of his dad, or he maybe he shouldn't get what he get, but he has this. Like for me, I like to see how you guys would deal with that because I'm sure that would come up at some point. You know.
Well, I definitely guard against that because, like we talked about, everything we have is like a tool.
Yeah.
Because it's just he has a lot of supplies, just because you
Mhm.
know.
Right.
He has had to. He's earned a lot of help.
Yes,
Right? It's not just
absolutely.
like it's not just given to
Yeah.
him. For one, but for two, I think up until this year, obviously, it takes a lot of focus on helping him at least get to the next step. But in the past, you guys have seen me at the races where he's at the races with Cole or whatever. So that's kind of strategic.
Mhm.
So I can maybe not make it
Yeah.
too easy for him because
Yeah.
like these things he's got to learn on his own. It can't be my deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Fly Racing, flyracing.com. You just go to Pulp MX when you're checking out. Cooper Webb, 450 Supercross points leader with Fly Racing gear.
Man, they're sure glad they got him this year,
Yep,
didn't
Fly
they?
Racing, boy. Chance Hymas, RJ Hampshire. Use the code PulpMX when you're checking out Nick Way, brought to you by the folks at Renthal. Nick's used Renthal for a long, long time. And then also check out renthal.com if you can. Factory Honda and
Fly
Kawasaki,
racing. It's
Red
like
Bull.
buying a #1 plate on the wall at Pro Circuit.
Yeah, great ideas. Did you hear my ideas?
Yeah, but the thing is you're not going to get a #1 plate, but any company, and it could be an individual that owns a company, probably most likely an individual that can afford that type of stuff probably owns a company. But for around 100,000, I'm pretty safe to say you could put your sticker on the side somewhere on the bottom.
Okay, that's a good point too. Sure, yeah, you could just be part of the team.
Plus, just like I heard you guys talking, but I would say that the thing is that would get me to the showroom because RV's here is maybe he changes my fork oil.
Oh wow, I don't know if you'd want that.
Yeah,
but
I need my guy to get to work.
Yeah. Nick, question from for Kiefer and RV and you, Kiefer, from the Anthony from YouTube. Riders still say that the team didn't set the bike up right. The rider speaks what they want and the team adjusts. So what's the blame pie between rider and team? You know, when the rider says the bike's not working that well, this guy's saying, well, you told them what settings you want. What's the blame pie?
I think, and these guys can elaborate more on that, but I think you go off of who's saying it. I think a lot of guys use it as, I say a lot of guys. Some guys use it as an excuse. Some guys actually have valid reasons. I know sometimes you're on the side of the team more than the rider.
Yeah, and JT's team rider.
And I'm on the side of the rider because at an elite level like these guys, they have to have their bike how they like it and they have to feel what they want to feel out of the motorcycle. If they don't have that, then the throttle hand doesn't work the same.
Yeah, but they're leaving the track saying, this is great, guys. Good job.
But also, when you go to different tracks, it changes.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And I think that's where some of us get lost. Like, hey, we go to different tracks. It should be the same. It's not the same. It changes from track to track, a.k.a. why Bones has thousands of notes that he has.
Okay.
So, like, for me, I guess it just depends on who's saying it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm obviously pro rider on this. Like, you kind of got to adapt.
Yeah.
But the more I obviously understand things, as I've tried a lot of stuff, I understand where the team's like, hey, they're advising you to say this is a safer one because it's better everywhere. Where, like, yeah, there's some instances in certain conditions where, yes, you would need to make an adjustment that would make a difference in a race.
Right.
We're coming to the conditions in, like, especially the 450 class, that the conditions are affecting the race.
Right.
But I think the culture has changed because of maybe, like, the MotoGP guys, and you see the F1 stuff where they're talking about, like, very, very, very critical of the car or the setup. And so I think they think it's more culturally okay. Whereas, like, we're old school and you're like, hey, man, these dudes are over there from sun up to sundown working on this. Like, the criticism is not necessarily, like, valid for you to say that. It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
But I also think part of that
But
comes,
is it true? It could be true, but we just perceive it as being a bit disrespectful.
Well, partly, though, I love motocross because the rider can overcome things. And road racing and car racing, you know, you need to be spot on or that you're not competitive, right?
But I think also, too, the rider's not an engineer. And I think telling your engineer, your suspension guy, the motor guy, whoever you're dealing, whatever issue you're having, relaying the right information to them and making sure that they then can, you know, if you trust in your personnel, number one, but relaying the right information so that they can hopefully make the best decision because you're the rider, not the engineer, right? Now, you can have some say in that, but I think that from what I've seen in the past, there's too much information. I want the bike like this. Well, they don't actually know where the shim stack's at or this or that or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a fine line on that.
Also, too, like it's nice to have a rider that can relay the information properly to the engineer.
That's the biggest. The disconnect there is from the rider to whoever they're talking to. If they can relay the information the right way.
I've listened to pro riders. Some of them talk, and it doesn't make sense what they're saying. And then you look at the engineer's face, they're like, well, I don't know.
Somebody told me, like Lars or somebody, I don't remember, but they told me when they first get with a rider, they're like, okay, here's the terms we're going to use. Here's what we're talking about. Yeah, here's the terms we're going to use. So when you feel this is the term we use. So don't tell us this because to us that we think it means this or whatever. Slow, fast, smooth, you know, all that kind of stuff. So.
I've never heard of that, but that's very smart because I would go between teams and just the way you talk about it would be confusing. I'd be like, that doesn't.
But I think that that falls back on the engineer or the suspension person or whoever you're talking to maybe ask it in a different way to then get the answer that you're looking for too.
Like in the consumer world, when you talk about testing and they were trying to figure out their bikes, I break it down as easiest as possible. There's two things, and it really breaks apart the motorcycles, on or off throttle. If you break apart those two things, it really dissects certain areas of the chassis or the engine You just have to tell me, hey, on throttle or off throttle, and the engineer has a shortcut to what he can do.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Key for testing, by the way.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, key for testing. Check it out. Although I didn't like his recent test between a Triumph and a Yamaha.
That's a good bike.
Yeah.
Great bike.
Imagine that.
He's
All right.
paid. It's paid. He's paid for the listeners.
Paid.
Meanwhile, this guy's yelling about
Yeah.
stock Yamahas. Stock Yamaha, bro.
Rear end steering, everybody.
Nick, what was the best year of your career? Why was it 2002?
2002 was fun.
It was amazing. Top
I think
privateer.
the MDK years were the best.
Yeah, that was fun.
He made the most money then.
Yeah, but he did the best too. He podiumed like 3 times that year.
But Moto Triple X, dude, top privateer.
Well, Moto Triple X. So I was renting a house just up the road here with a couple of friends of mine, and then Mathis. We worked out of the garage, and I put a oil rack in above the wheel well the night before Anaheim, and we had to use like what would have been like crazy bad Maxxis tires then.
Yeah,
really bad.
Ooh.
Mitch put together the engine, Bones did the suspension. Outdoors, we actually was the first time that they had Showa stuff on a different bike than the Cowie, because we had a front end we had a front wheel, a Cowie front wheel, and a Cowie front brake on the front end because they didn't have lugs yet.
Yeah.
When we tested it. So yeah, it was cool because we were just making it work.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that time we put the oil rack in, I remember passing Wyndham. I think I got 6th or 7th in the main.
You got 7th in Anaheim 1. Yeah.
I was like, I was shocked that
we were out of a box fan.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think that people understand how good Nick was. I think when I talk to people, like Nick was a really, really, really good rider.
Yeah.
Well, it just surprises me because at that point I was only 21.
Yeah.
I was pretty young then.
I always think, Nick, that you discount your own career because you didn't win as many races as you wanted to. You know, you got one national win, you got a bunch of podiums, you never won a 125 Supercross, which is mind-blowing to me.
Right.
Well, I didn't really race that many, actually. I got pointed out quickly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think you always downplay your career because you really wished you would have won more and should have won more. You put too much, I don't know. You know, I don't know
I wouldn't say I
it is.
really like downplay it. It's just it happened. I had a good time. I worked super hard at it.
Yeah.
I don't really like need to dwell on that one time I got 3rd or that time I got 2nd.
I know, but I'm saying, like, you had a fantastic career. It was great.
No, I had a great time. I had a great time.
I feel like you don't think that.
Well, I'm pretty competitive.
He did just say
I'm
that.
pretty competitive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like just out of your competitiveness, you're like, I should have done more and I should have been better.
Any champion's going to want more no matter what they got.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
well, racer in general, right?
He had an amazing career. I always tell that to people. Like, it was great. And the amount of time you went to with, you know.
Yeah, and to be fair, I had like a lot of loyal supporters that kept me going. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of good sponsors.
Yeah.
You're still wearing Answer, dude.
Yeah, yes.
I didn't know Answer was still around.
Answer is alive.
Yeah.
Still here.
RV did a year there too.
2.
Two.
I think.
Yeah.
2.
What is going on with Answer? Kind of a rebrand, right? Turn 14.
So
Sorry.
Turn 14.
Turn
is
14.
automotive
Yeah,
distributor
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
So then they bought Pro Taper and Answer.
Pumping them up. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like they're getting some momentum.
They're getting some momentum in the
Yeah.
dealerships, and they're doing a good job with the distribution portion. And then we had designed the 2026 gear, so it's going to be all new and new fit, new fabrics, new stretch.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But yeah, they're definitely like getting into it, understanding the business a bit more, and then the plan is to reinvest in marketing.
God, it's a 15-year relationship with you probably, right?
Shoot, man, I rode 2003 just after you. I wore Answer.
Yeah.
And then 04 to like 2015.
Yeah.
MSR.
Yeah.
And Answer since, so it was all owned by the group.
Same group.
Yeah.
I said something a lot about him because I've known other companies that talk to me about him personally. Like, hey, we're going after Nick and Vincent, and he stays where he's at.
Yeah.
So I know that conversation has happened over there at some point.
Look at his kid bailed on him. It was FXR. His kid just bailed, bounced.
It's difficult though.
Vince, you can't bounce.
It's difficult though because like for me, the work that I'm doing with Answer, we have the Ty Lube group, which has a great group of young riders that make the main in the 250 class.
Yep.
But they're not like super well known. So Vincent gets a bit of exposure and people pay attention to him when he shows up to an amateur race. So for me,
sets himself apart a little bit.
Well, for us to split us apart is a bit difficult because there's not like some crazy financial upside as an amateur.
Yeah.
But like obviously that's time's coming soon.
I thought the same thing, and then Aiden bailed for Fox because he got to be Fox. So
he just wants to be away from his dad, which I don't blame him. So it's fine.
Well, Vince is.
Well, he's got a good dad. Remember, I told you I'm not as good as the dad as Nick.
Good point. Good point. What's next, Vince, for you? What's next on the racing?
Foxborough this weekend.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Okay, goddamn.
Yeah.
And
So we rode today.
Yep.
Gonna ride tomorrow.
Mhm.
I fly Wednesday. Gonna drive from DeWitt to Foxborough Wednesday.
you got a bike there?
ish.
You get the
No,
bike
I got a. So I went from Birmingham back to DeWitt with the motorhome. So it's like closer to Foxborough.
Yeah, yeah,
Amateur life.
yeah.
And then I
A
washed
lot of miles.
Yeah.
the race bike off. Big Nasty was over there the other day making sure everything's tight.
Nice.
And then
Still at it on the grind.
Then I'll drive as I get there and get
Yeah.
like half the way there or whatever it is because I got to be there to park Friday. And then since then, we've got a couple spec changes that I got to switch over.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Right. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Foxborough, you got to.
Yeah.
back on the grind. Love it. Well, don't stop.
Well, I mean, I trying to just like every parent would. Trying to help them.
You and Nicole just pass each other in the night, or what are we doing?
Yeah, she's coming this weekend too. So
Okay.
I'm flying to
Okay.
Michigan and driving, and then Nicole and Vincent and Donovan are flying to Boston.
Oh,
Cool.
bringing D in.
Yeah, D's showing.
Oh, okay.
I might be your
Trainer?
good luck charm then.
Trainer.
Yeah, he's my motivator.
He's gonna
Motivator.
get the waters, the gels,
I saw him at
the
Mesquite.
goose.
Yeah.
I saw him at Mesquite. He looked ready. He looked ready to help it.
He's the biggest Goggins fan there is.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't
okay.
know this.
Yes.
Like screensaver on his phone's Goggins, alarm,
Yeah.
Goggins.
Stop it.
Well, everything
because
Goggins.
he's like he's a frat boy, dude. Like
Yeah,
he is
yeah.
super like, yo, where's your snacks? Because we always have healthy stuff at the house.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like he's that neighbor kid here, neighbor kid there, getting Pop Tarts, having somebody's whatever. He's rubbing kids' shoulders to get some chips.
Wow.
And
And,
then-
he's still crushing mountain
Always,
bikes.
Well, totally.
always knows where. Like any house we go to, knows the pantry.
Nice.
Knows exactly where
Nice.
it's
He's
at.
always
Yeah.
the youngest
First place
kid
he
around.
goes to.
So he's like basically every parent's like, yeah, dude, this kid like, because another friend of ours, Moss's, live right near his school.
Okay.
So if we can't get there from organizing our day, he'll go there.
Oh, okay.
And then get picked up from there, which he races also Brody Moss.
Yeah, yeah.
And so his mom's crazy nice, and she has a pantry.
His whole
stacked.
pantry.
So he's
yeah.
coming up with reasons why he's got to go to Brody's.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it tonight on the Pulp MX show. Vince and Nick Wey. Good luck in Foxborough.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming by. All right, everybody, give him a hand.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Great bunch of family there.